Welcome to Chapter 9, the first chapter of Part 5, Scale. The previous part was about building capability. This part is about spreading it. And before you can scale anything, you have to diagnose where you actually stand. That is what this chapter gives you. Two diagnostic instruments, one pointed at your people and one pointed at your organization. The first instrument shown on the left card is the team archetypes model. It diagnoses each individual on your team as one of three types: an explorer, a stalled adopter, or an integrated operator, and tells you the right management intervention for each. The second instrument on the right card is the Enterprise AI Readiness Scorecard. It diagnoses the whole organization across 5 maturity dimensions and, crucially, finds the single dimension that is capping all the others. Individuals on one side, the enterprise on the other. The learning objectives follow the same split. For the team archetypes, identify which of the 3 archetypes each team member fits. Apply the correct management intervention for each, and recognize the uncomfortable truth that explorers and stalled adopters produce the same operational outcome. For the readiness scorecard, score your organization across the 5 maturity dimensions. Identify which dimension is capping overall maturity and create a remediation plan for the weakest dimension. 6 objectives, 3 per instrument. 3 adoption archetypes. Start with the people. When you look honestly at how a team adopts AI, almost everyone falls into one of 3 archetypes, and the slide lays them out side by side with their behavior and the intervention each one needs. The first is the explorer. The behavior pattern is high tool acquisition but low process integration. The explorer has 20 or more tools bookmarked and is genuinely enthusiastic, but has 0 recurring workflows to show for it. The intervention is to redirect that energy into process, assign them one workflow to automate end to end, remove the blockers in their way, define role-specific use cases so the enthusiasm has somewhere to land, and give them a safe space to experiment. The second is the stalled adopter. The behavior pattern is simpler. They have not started. Training was a single session that never went anywhere, and role-specific use cases were never defined for them. The intervention is the same as for the explorer, and that is the point. You redirect them into process, assign one end-to-end workflow, define role-specific use cases, and provide a safe space to experiment. 2 very different-looking people, the busy enthusiast and the inert non-starter, need the same fix because they share the same problem: no shipped workflow. The third is the integrated operator. The behavior pattern is the one you want. They use 2 or 3 tools deeply. They operate codified workflows, and they are known for their output, not their enthusiasm. The intervention here is completely different. You do not redirect them, you document and scale them. Have your operators teach others and build shared playbooks so their practice spreads across the team. And that brings us to the key insight at the foot of the slide, which is the whole chapter in one line. Explorers and stalled adopters produce identical outcomes, namely 0 shipped workflows. Only operators actually ship, and each archetype needs a different intervention. The measure of maturity is workflows shipped, not tools acquired. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember that the busy explorer and the stalled non-starter score exactly the same on the only metric that counts. Exercise 9. Team archetype mapping. Now make it concrete with the first exercise. On the left is the activity. On the right are the book's sample answers. The activity is to list your 5 closest team members and assign each one an archetype: explorer, stalled adopter, or integrated operator. Then tally how many explorers, how many stalled, and how many operators you have, and name your single priority intervention based on that distribution. The sample answers make the model vivid. Raj is an explorer. He posts about AI daily but has not shipped a single workflow. Priya is an operator. She uses Claude for all her client briefs with a standard template quietly producing. Ahmed is stalled. He tried ChatGPT once, got a wrong answer, and stopped. And the priority that falls out of this map is to convert Ahmed and two other stalled adopters by defining three role-specific use cases inside their weekly tasks. Notice how the intervention follows directly from the diagnosis. You do not give Priya more training, you ask her to teach. You do not give Raj more tools, you give him one workflow to finish. The Enterprise AI Readiness Scorecard. Now lift the lens from the individual to the organization. The Enterprise AI Readiness Scorecard measures organizational preparedness across 5 dimensions, and you score each one from 0 to 2 against a specific audit question for a total out of 10. Dimension 1 is strategic sponsorship, and the audit question is there a named executive accountable for AI outcomes with a funded 12-month plan? Dimension 2 is data and technical foundation. Can a new AI use case access production data from any unit within 2 weeks? Dimension 3 is operational embedding. How many AI use cases are in production with tracked performance metrics? Dimension 4 is capability building and culture. What percentage of managers completed hands-on AI training in the past 6 months? And dimension 5 is governance and responsible use. Is there a review process every AI use case must pass before production? Each question is deliberately concrete, so the score is evidence, not opinion. Total the 5 and read your maturity level from the bands at the foot of the slide. A score of 0 to 3 is early stage, and the strategic focus is to prioritize sponsorship and infrastructure before you try to scale anything. 4 to 7 is developing, and the focus is the weakest dimension because the weakest dimension caps overall maturity. 8 to 10 is advanced, where the focus shifts to scaling and measuring enterprise-wide impact. The deeper lesson and the chapter's takeaway is that maturity requires strength across all 5 dimensions at once. A single 0 anywhere drags the whole organization down, which is why a score below 4 calls for foundational work first, and a score of 8 or above signals genuine readiness to scale. Exercise 10, score your organization. The final exercise turns the scorecard on your own organization. On the left is the activity, on the right the worked sample. The activity is to score each of the 5 dimensions from 0 to 2, total them out of 10, and then name your maturity level, your weakest dimension, and one action to improve it. It is the kind of thing a leadership team can complete honestly in 15 minutes and argue about productively for an hour. The sample answer shows how revealing it is. Sponsorship scores a 2. The CTO owns AI strategy with board reporting. Data scores a 1. The data exists but is siloed with no cross-unit access layer. Operations scores a 1. 3 pilots are running but no production metrics are tracked. Culture scores a 0. There is no AI training program beyond a single launch webinar. Governance scores a 1. Ethics guidelines are written but not enforced. The total is 5 out of 10, which places the organization firmly in developing. The weakest dimension is culture at 0, and so the action is to launch a monthly AI skills workshop with hands-on projects. Notice the discipline the scorecard enforces. The organization has strong sponsorship and reasonable governance, so it would be tempting to feel ready. But the scorecard says otherwise, because the 0 in culture caps everything. The remediation plan does not chase the strong dimensions. It goes straight at the weakest one. That is the through line of the whole chapter on both the individual and the enterprise level. Diagnose honestly, find the thing that is capping you, and act there first. Thank you.